the Willie Moe Jr. show, flat out. Yeah. Family, wait. You watching the Love You More show. Thank you. Subscribe, share with as many people as possible. But before we go anywhere else, I want you to check out my adoption story. It's a trailer to the movie The Missing Piece, which I'm going to give you an invite so you can go see it in your living room. How? I'll tell you right after this. Although years had passed, I would often think about my biological mother.
How did you think that being adopted and never having met your biological parents, that you was okay?
Like, what did she look like? What was her name? Did she ever think of me? I opened the birth certificate, and I get it, and I look at the name for the child, and I realized that I did not have a name. Although she had refused to meet me, I wondered those things. But in 2019, I received word from the adoption agency through an email that my biological mom was dead. She put me up for adoption, she refused to meet me, and then she died on me.
After he told me her name, I got really curious.
She called me and she was just like, I think I found the person who could possibly be your brother. I needed to meet him. And then she added a caveat. She said she's not dead. Your grandmama's dead, but your mama's not dead. Family, coming up Thanksgiving night, I want to give you the opportunity to bring the theater to your computer, to your television, to your living room. After you finish eating all the Thanksgiving fixings, I want to give you an opportunity to see this movie in its entirety. You say, Willie Moore Jr., how do I get my tickets to the virtual theater? It's really easy. In this description on this YouTube, there's a link that says The Missing Piece movie. I want to make sure that you click the link and buy a ticket. If it's two or three of y'all in the house, I'm trusting that you're gonna buy 2 or 3 tickets. You say, why? Because a portion of the proceeds are gonna help me buy Christmas gifts for foster children and for adoptees across the country. We are gonna give some children an amazing Christmas, and it all starts with you. So make sure that you get your tickets to the virtual theater, and then we got a VIP opportunity. Afterwards, you'll get a chance to hang out with me and a lot of people in the movie. You gotta watch the movie though. Get your tickets right now. Flat out.
On the Love You More show.
Why does she have an issue initially with you being married?
Because I make more money, because I was making more money than my husband. The income does not dictate your treatment in the relationship. You get what I'm saying?
I do.
Well, I dated a lot of people before I found my true king. Okay. Yeah. I wouldn't trade my husband for nobody. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Like,
Love You More. Tune in this Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Hey family, it's your nephew Willie Moe Jr. Love You More show. Excited about this moment in time because I get an opportunity today to talk to somebody who's really, really cool. Like, I really look at her and her entrepreneur ventures and think to myself, I need to work a little harder. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's some people that you see and you think to yourself, I gotta do better. Shout out to this big old hat that I got on that I really, really like with the red in it. It comes from an amazing young lady whose name is Sherelle. And I said, I'm wearing it when I get with KANDI BURESS. I already told you who she is because I wanted to look just a little bit taller. It feel like a crown on my head. So if you like it, it's gonna be a link down here so you'll get an opportunity to go support an African-American woman who's doing something extremely great. The first time I encountered KANDI, now that you know who she is, I was just starting in radio, and I remember my producer ran in and he was like, hey man, KANDI BURESS down the hall, we gonna get her. And I was like, well, I think she married. I don't want to get her. He's like, no, I'm gonna get her in the studio. And I was like, okay, cool, go for it. And of course, you never know what to expect when a person has such a stature. Many times you see people on reality TV shows and you think you know who they are until you get the encounter with them personally. And she wasn't rushing. She stayed in the building. She hung out. She gave a really great interview. And I just always honored and respected people who you know, in your beginning stage when there was not really a platform, who come in and just work with humility. And so I get the opportunity to speak with her on another beginning platform, the Love You More Show, which is now garnered over 100,000 subscriptions in less than 4 weeks. I honor you guys for subscribing. And man, we doing it big with the one and only KANDI Buress Tucker. What it doozy.
Hey, man, you know, just living the best life and enjoying being a part of your new show.
Man, I really appreciate it. KANDI, listen, let me just tell you something. You done blew up Shawaited. Let's get that out of the way.
Wait, blew up Shawaited.
How we go from singing to entrepreneurship? Like, you really, really leveraged that Real Housewife thing on a different level. I think you leveraged it the best out of all housewives.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and no disrespect to him, because I know y'all go in and be like, I don't care what he said. I leveraged it the best. I don't want to get that. But just from a guy who kind of looks on the outside and looks over, I'm like, yo, she really leveraged this into multimedia brands.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, I feel like if you're going to be on reality TV, then you might as well, you know, make the best of it.
Yeah. So traditionally, when you go on shows, there's always different icebreaker conversations. Mm-hmm. The way we do it on the Love You More Show, we do it through a themed musical selection, because we also have a musical series that's also on YouTube as well.
Okay.
And so bring your attention to the screen, check this out, and we're going to have our conversation.
Why are we waiting for the sun to go down? We both want it, so let's get it started right now. Time's of the essence, and I don't want to waste mine. We should get together and make love in the daytime. I know you get tired of the same old same. Wait until the night come to do your thing. I've got a proposition for you ladies today. I wanna make love in the middle of the day. Say, wanna cry. You used to knocking boots, how about I knock you out your socks? Make you feel like a queen when we in between them sheets, and keep you energized like some Xantrax 3, baby. Why are we waiting for the sun to go down? We both want it, so let's get it started right now. Time's of the essence, and I don't wanna waste mine. We should get together and make love in the day.
It is available now, all streaming platforms. Make sure that you download it. Make sure you buy whatever you have to do. Just make sure you support KANDI in this scene.
Wait, hold on. How come I didn't know you sang?
Girl, I was singing your songs in the talent show.
I didn't know.
You didn't?
I did not know. I'm like, what?
Yeah, we sang all the just a little. You know,
like
I'm not, you know, so I'm not KANDI.
Oh,
but you know,
no, I really love that. That was dope. And shout out to my girl Jasmine.
She plays my wife in this series.
Oh, so it's a whole series.
It's a whole series. Here's the thing. I was so thankful. You know what I'm saying? I was so thankful that, you know, Jesus was in the mix. But no, that's my sister. I really, really love her. And I thank God. So in that, it's George Wallace is in it. Jamal Bryant is in it. It's a few other amazing features. Back in the day, I used to be this guy named Pretty Willie. So I sung songs, Lay Your Body Down, Four Walls, Good Thing.
Okay.
I was signed to Universal.
Yeah.
Nelly sold like 30 million records. I sold like, you know what I'm saying, 30 total. You know what I'm saying? They got me off of that. They got me off that label quick. They was like, that's only 30 records. Get them off of there. But shout out to Avery Littman. I turned out good, right? But in the scene, KANDI, I'm in counseling. And I look at you and my brother Todd, and I see you guys having so many different arms. Mm-hmm. Is there any outside help in terms of counseling and therapy that you guys get the opportunity to do?
No.
You're like, no, I don't do therapy.
We have not. I mean, we tried it once. I think we was on Housewives and we had like this counselor that came, but other than that, no.
Yeah. So how do you find common ground in communication coming from a relationship where I'm the breadwinner? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm the guy who everybody knows. And it's just like, yeah, that's not that she's any less important, but that's Willie's wife. Mm-hmm. You know, that's Willie's wife. Okay. But what if God decides that, hey, this go round, I want to give you a person who has this stature and she's just as gleaming in the public eye as I am. Mm-hmm. How do you navigate conversations when you have to make strong decisions business-wise that may not necessarily go good with what deem in the relationship to be great? Like, what does that communication look like?
Well, okay. So I respect my husband first, right? So at the end of the day, yes, in our relationship, I guess I'm more out in the front. When he met me, I've always been in the public eye or whatever.
Yeah.
He's always been a behind the scenes guy.
Yeah.
But he's comfortable in it. Like he's very secure in who he is. And at the same time, just because I am in the public eye, I don't really carry myself like a person with ego, or I feel like, I outweigh my husband just because, of my career or whatever. That has nothing to do with it. Like we communicate well, I think. And just like anybody, we do have arguments. But I think with us, the way things work is I try to, because I'm a very laid back person, for the most part, I try to let him have his way.
Got it.
But on the things that really bother me, I'll stand on it, and we have our back and forth. But
so you're not the person that's standing on business, everything. So when you have to step up, let me listen real quick.
Because I feel like I'm good at being a team player. I don't know if it's because, I was in a group for so many years or whatever. And we always did a voting system or whatever. Okay. So I didn't always get my way in the group either. But so I guess I just kind of know how to, work with my husband in a way of, I look at things like this. Like, we in this for life, right?
Yeah.
So for me, the things that ain't really that serious to me, what am I tripping on? Like, might as well see if it works his way. If it doesn't work his way, then that's when I'll be like, hey, man, this ain't working. Yeah. We may have a little back and forth about it, but we don't have a lot of serious arguments. Because for me, if it ain't really worth the drama, I'm like, well, why are we doing
what
this?
we doing?
Yeah, what we doing? Now, I do have my moments where that Taurus in me sees red and I might flip out. But, he'll just let me have a moment.
Yeah, he married to a Taurus.
Yeah, he'll let me have my moment. And then, we take a breather and then we come back to it. But, yeah, I just don't, I think I'm just really chill for the most part.
Yeah. So when I think about, I wasn't in this seat a long time ago. And I remember back in the day when I used to watch the show and Riley, her father.
Me and Riley's dad have not dated or anything since I was pregnant with Riley.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, but more so like you holding on to her. Like that's like yo, everything. Like
Riley
how far
is my baby. I was a single mom,
like,
and at the end of the day, if you're a single parent, I just feel like, well, it depends on what your situation is. Mm-hmm. But in my situation, I was a single parent who was doing everything by myself. Like her father wasn't really involved as much. So, you gotta be that rock for your child. And also I grew up in a single parent home. So it also affects the way I see things. I'm like, okay, that's my everything and I'm her everything. And I got to make sure she good. She good first. And so anybody that came into my life, I had to make sure that they were going to treat my child right, know? And so, yeah.
So is there a time limit or did you just feel it in your heart like, okay, I think it's time to go ahead and bridge this gap and let you meet? Because this ain't messy. Like, I have 4 children. I was adopted.
Okay.
So my children are my everything. Like, I don't know if people understand what it's like when you finally get a chance to see somebody who have your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your features, your characteristics. So for me, my kids couldn't even be babysat unless I really had this extensive, hey, we got to sit down with you. I need to know who you are. Like, I'm a neighborhood guy. Like, you're not about to touch my kids. Like, I was they were like my possessions. But then God showed me that children come from God, they just come through parents. So not that I took my leash off so long, but it took me a while to bring people in, and I was married. So I can only imagine what it's gonna be like now to say, you want to meet my tribe? You know what I'm saying? You want to meet my who? My tribe?
I think I would do things, Lord forbid. Well, I'm not gonna speak anything negative on my marriage. I think I definitely would do things different. Lord forbid if something broke up between Todd and I. Yeah. But with Riley, I remember Riley saying to me one time, she was asking me about, who she was getting at the age. I guess she was like, 5, 6 or whatever, which, kids these days, they be picking up on things.
Hey, no.
So she was like, I should be able to meet who you're dating. And I was like, well, it's just a friend or whatever. She was like, no. She was like, if they're just your friend, I should be able to meet them. And I was like, yeah, but they ain't that serious or whatever. She was like, no, I feel like I should meet them before you get serious because I don't want you to start liking them too much to where they would, where you wouldn't care about how I feel.
5 or 6.
Yes.
Jeez.
But I got what she was saying because you know how I've seen other women, they find themselves so in love with this dude that, just because their kids don't necessarily like the person or that person isn't nice to their children, they be overlooking things because they so crazy about the guy. Mm-hmm. But if you already know from the jump that, oh, he's not really good with kids or, he ain't really nice around children or whatever, then you probably wouldn't get that far with them. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Not to say that you're supposed to introduce your child to every person you meet, but at the same time, just because they meet your child, it doesn't mean that they met them as your boyfriend.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. Like people could just be around. It don't mean you have to be kissy. You don't have to be huggy around your child. You don't have to be intimate around your child to see if that person is just cool around children.
That's real. And so being able to see your daughter now become, a woman and growing up in the public eye.
She's 21 now.
Jeez. What kind of conversation do you have with your friend now, friend?
Oh my gosh.
Is she relationship?
She knows everything. She's definitely relationshiping.
Really?
She's grown. Like Riley be wanting to tell me what to do. Like she's
my 20-year-old do the same thing. Yeah,
she's different. She's in this age of, I don't know about this generation where everything is, my mental health, that. Yeah. Oh, I want to live a soft life. Girl, what? No, I don't know get off the internet. I don't know what you got going on. Yeah.
So when I look at that and you see this 21-year-old young lady, what would KANDI at this age still look 21? What would you say to that 21-year-old girl now as it pertains to relationships?
Well, sad thing, I can't say too much to her about it because she don't even want to introduce me to nobody. She introduced me to one guy.
Yeah.
But after a while, she decided to dump him. But I just try to tell her, still put yourself first, right? Don't get too caught up in any relationship where you lose focus on your goals. Mm-hmm. You really still got to put you first.
Yeah.
And make sure he, treats you right. Mm-hmm. Obviously, don't let anybody take advantage of you. Mm-hmm. If he's nice, be nice, but remember, you need to put you first.
Growing up with a single mother, you talked about growing up in that type of household. Do you think that helped or hindered the way you relationship in your marriage?
Ooh, in my marriage?
Like in your marriage, like not being able to see
my mother wasn't necessarily supportive of my marriage when we first got together.
Your mom? See, I don't know all the situation, but I'm just saying, like, as a child growing up with a single mother with those type of ideologies of, girl, you better get it for yourself. A man ain't gonna. I mean, if that was the case, like, how did you?
Me and my mom think totally different when it comes to dating and relationships.
Why does she have an issue initially with you being married?
Because I make more money. Because I was making more money than my husband.
The money part.
Yeah. I mean, I think my mom is, she's like a lot of, old school Southern women. Yeah. It's like, oh, if he ain't got this, then what you talking to him for? You know what I mean?
You probably make more money than kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. No offense, but that is true. So to me, it's like you're limiting your options if you only dating by what an income a person is making. If you're not looking at more than that, you know what I mean? To me, it's so much more to look at. And also, just because somebody is financially wealthy doesn't mean that that's going to make you happy. You know, prior to marriage or whatever, I dated, millionaires. I dated guys who just had regular income or whatever. And the income does not dictate your treatment in the relationship. You get what I'm saying?
I do.
So,
in this age, that's rare though. Cause like now on social media, everybody thinks they have so much access to everybody. But how did you have these different standards in a world where your best friend might be dating this dude who making $25 million on the Falcons, and this friend, she has a new guy, he's the CEO of this, and you like, nah, I really love this guy, and I'm standing on it like it's business. Whoa, hey, do me a favor. Like, comment, and shit. Just like it real quick. Come on, show me you appreciating this show. Do it now. Thank you. She has a new guy, he's the CEO of this, and you like, nah, I really love this guy, and I'm standing on it like it's business.
Well, I dated a lot of people before I found my true king. Okay,
yeah.
So I mean,
so you had like,
I've been in all those situations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And once again, I just don't feel like that's what dictates. See, the other thing is, I'm very much so a woman who, I knew I always wanted to have my own. Right? And sometimes you may be in a relationship with somebody who doesn't necessarily support that or support you in your dreams. And then you find yourself just sitting back and not totally standing in your full greatness. You know what I mean? Because you're just only about, well, let me, see how he doing, check on him or whatever. You get what I'm saying? And
so you didn't have to dim your light.
No.
That's good.
And I don't think any woman should dim their light just, for the sake of a relationship. I think you should come in with somebody who's secure in who they are, and they shine and you shine, and y'all shine together.
Yeah.
I
hear like a whole lot of in the audience. Like,
Yeah. I think a lot of women also who are, financially successful or whatever, sometimes they get caught up in what other people are thinking as well. Like, say for instance, obviously I was on television or whatever, so it would have been easy to get caught up in everybody's like, oh, your man don't make as much money as you do, and then feel a way about what people. But I don't really care what they think about what my man, because I know, my man was doing well for himself when I met him, right?
Yeah.
He was in television production. He was making good money. But, people would totally disrespect him and be saying, oh, he's broke or, I'm like, no, we may not make the same, but he still can take me out, do things with me, do everything I want to do. So what are you worried about it for? So I think, people get caught up in that, but then you got to also think, what do you and your man have the potential to do together?
Yeah.
Todd and we have done so much together and taken things to the next level together with the businesses that we've started together, with the projects that we've done together. It's like, yeah, I would trade my husband for nobody. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Like, realistically, I've been there, done that. What you saying, dated a guy that had millions and millions of dollars or whatever. And that situation didn't last because, like most, they feel like, oh, okay, they got everybody trying to come at them at the same time, and they feel like they got money. They could just do this and do
they
that.
They never be loose. Man, what I'm saying? I get with you when I can get with you.
No, they'll be with you, but then they'll be with everybody else too. And, I'm not standing for that. I don't care what, and there are some women who are okay with that. They're okay with, well, he's taking care of home. I'm good. Yeah. No, that wasn't good for me. Yeah. It didn't work for me. Yeah. So I have to go with what works for me. And I feel like, whatever works for you, cool. Yeah. If that's what you like, that's not what I liked.
I love the fact that you take a strong stance on what you believe. And I've seen you publicly honor your husband in such a way. I know that has to feel good for a man to know that no matter what zeros are in the account, I understand that I have a permanent place in her heart. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you always, giving him that particular stature. Because we live in a world where everything is numerical. And it's not that you ain't making money, but it's just like how many followers you got, how many this, how many that. And your worth is now predicated based upon whatever numerical cent on this part. And to go home and still have to deal with that type of pressure would have to be extremely tough for woman or man. Right. And so I really do appreciate that. I do got to ask you this though, Kandi. So when you're doing like the love and hip hop stuff and your name is getting out here and, some things are good and then some things get a little, antsy. How does a man support a woman of your stature when you're going through the tough times? How do you pursue and build a woman like you up when as soon as you click on the phone, everything is about what's right or wrong?
Well, those are the best times that he's been there to support me. Because sometimes, I built up tough skin. I've been doing reality TV. That was finished 14 seasons on Housewives. Okay.
Come on, man. Let's 14?
Yeah.
With no therapy.
No. So, but there have been a couple times that, I did feel like I would break, right? Where it was just moments where I was just like, oh my God, like you said, people come at you online with the craziest things. And I remember my husband was like, why are you worried about the 100 people that's sitting up here keep coming at you with these crazy things in your comments when you may have, I got millions of people that's following me, but it's just that good couple hundred people that's constantly being negative that is getting in your head. Right. You know what I mean? Like, why am I letting them get in my head? And you got to understand that some of the people that are super negative, they make pages, multiple pages, just so they can keep coming at you from different pages. So I just became the best at block, delete, and just lean in to the people who do support me. Another time that my husband really, really came through for me is I always tell people, like, a few years back, with my group, we were still broke up at the time, but this is what made us come back together. When our life story, we found out our life story was being taken and about to be done at a network or whatever. And my lawyer was like, yeah, it ain't nothing you could do about it because people can make stories or films about public figures and there's nothing you could do. And I was like, what? And I was devastated. I was about to cry. Well, no, I did cry a little bit, I ain't gonna lie. And my husband was like, nah, stop. We gonna call a couple other networks. We gonna get some other people to want to do y'all stuff. It really made me and my group members talk and communicate. And after we hadn't been talking for years. And, and he really made me like put on my thinking hat and get back into the boss that I am. And be like, oh, hold on. No. Pull together some situations, shut down some other situations. And that's what we did. When I thought that I didn't have any options, he made me realize I did. So, yeah.
Kandi, listen, I just want to tell you, I have seen a lot of people sit right here and I will watch. And it's like many times I don't see people able to look back. I always look at the word respect. Like respect, mean back. Like rewind the tape, like re-look at things. Let's just say hypothetically, like the word respect is like a look, right? So if we back look, right? Like we back look, then we're able to respect what we have in our grasp. And a lot of times we don't get a chance to look back often and say, damn, you've been with me for a minute. And I really do appreciate that. So I appreciate the conversation that we're able to curate today. Going through all of the things that I've seen so many different relationships go through. Like when I look at the circle of people that were on some of the networks, some of them relationships didn't necessarily work out, but y'all still moving down the way. I mean, some of them relationships you thinking is like champion, the most beautiful weddings you ever seen. And I'm just like, oh man, I done been to a few of them. Seeing you there, like, hey girl, nice dress, child. You know what I mean? And then it just doesn't work. Right. Like, what would you say to a couple has been the long lasting thread of longevity for you and your relationship? If it was just like one thing, it's one thing we do right here. Like, we might not get everything right, but we get this right.
I think we just have fun together.
Fun is important.
Definitely, because you don't want to get in like a slump. I think some people, you know, when they've been in a relationship for a long time, they stop hanging out as much together. Like Todd and I, we be together all the time.
Yeah.
You know, obviously we do have to do, you know, certain things as far as business. Sometimes we have to do it separately, but for the most part, we love hanging together. We love having fun together. Obviously, you gotta, you know, get your bedroom right.
Yeah, come on.
You know what I mean?
What is your thing? Candy coated nights?
Bedroom candy.
They said I can't have that on there, can it? What's the bedroom candy? Candy, tell me about it. Maybe we should have played Sex in the Daytime for this.
I have adult products called toys and all kind of products under my company, Bedroom Candy.
Come on, Bedroom Candy.
Yes.
What's Candy Coated Night?
Candy Coated Nights. It was a podcast.
It's a podcast. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
And then we changed it to Candy Coated Live recently because we've been doing it during the day.
Okay.
But it used to be at night, and we did it for years and years and years.
Yeah.
Where we had people come on, we talk about sex and relationships.
Yeah.
It was kind of vulgar, you know, but people were open to say whatever they wanted to say.
I love it.
And it was fun.
What's next for Candy in this arena of entrepreneurship? I know we have the Wiz coming up. I thought that was so dope.
Thank you. Yes, we are producing Broadway shows now. So this is my third. And it's doing really, really well. So
how does one get into that? Like, what would you think you was riding and just like, baby, you know what I'm finna do? What? We finna get on Broadway. Like, what? How did the thought process come up for that?
Well, the first thing that I knew I wanted to do something in Broadway. So I had changed agencies because I wanted to act more and stuff. And I was like, hey, I told them as soon as I got with them, I want to do Broadway. So they got me audition, and I ended up being Mama Morton in Chicago on Broadway. This was some years back. So I did that first. And then after it, I was like, I want to do something else on Broadway. I don't really know what.
Yeah.
But I want to do something. So I was introduced to Brian Moreland, who was one of my producing partners or whatever. And he was looking for people to, you know, be involved on Thoughts of a Colored Man, which was a show that I ended up becoming a producer on back coming right out of the shutdown for pandemic.
Yeah.
First time ever Broadway had ever shut down.
Yeah.
And we were one of the first shows to open it back up. After it closed, we wanted to do something else together. And so the Piano Lesson, which is an August Wilson play, we decided to bring it back to Broadway as a revival. My husband came on as a producer as well. So that became the highest grossing August Wilson production ever in history. Normally, Black-led productions are not normally as successful.
Really?
Yeah, and there's not many of them. And so it's our goal to kind of change that.
Yeah.
And which that we did. We ended up getting a Tony nomination for that show.
Come on, Tony.
And this is the next one. And it's doing well. We decided to tour it first before going to Broadway. So we're touring 13 cities, and it starts on Broadway in April of 2024.
I'm in awe. KD, I'm in awe. I'm talking about Black people doing something different. You hear me? Loving on their husband and wives and all that good stuff. Family, I'm going to put a ball on this thing. You know, I wanted to bring Candy, this hat. Let me try to get used to it real quick. I'm trying to sit in this seat real quick and talk to you real quick. Listen, I wanted to bring Candy on because I wanted you to understand that a lot of times you get an opportunity to see people in one light, but you miss the opportunity to see them in another. You know, there's always entertainment in the front, but there's always business in the back that you may not see. Mm-hmm. And whenever I get a chance to hang out with greatness for a moment, I like to know what strategies they may have in their relationship to keep things going. Because here's the thing, maybe you've been through misunderstandings in your relationships, breakups, divorce, and you probably think to yourself, I'm going to hold some strong borders and I'm just never going to do A, B, and C. But here's the thing, there's a level of openness that you have to have for your next situation. And I've seen Candy just from afar, not that I'm on the phone with her all the time, but you know, go through the ebbs and flows in the public light. Like in the public, the ups and downs, all with a camera in her face. And to get a chance to sit here and hear like she's still moving forward with her teammate, is phenomenal. I see so many people in relationships that give up extremely easy just because certain misunderstandings. You know, I would venture to state that Kandi and Todd maybe have it a lot harder than you, because if they do something, the whole world gets an opportunity to have an opinion. Sometimes the people just in your break room just have an opinion and you ready to throw it all away. And so today I pray that I got an opportunity to talk to the women right now who have a financial goal for the man that they believe that they're supposed to attract. You know, prayerfully, I got an opportunity to show you that love wins. And if there's something on the inside of a person that enhances who you know you are about to become, I think you can alleviate some of the divorces that we have to fight for, because you're going into the relationship with the right motive. Here's the thing. Before you had a relationship, you had a purpose. So while you're out there looking for what you want or what you need, I think it will be extremely smart to say, God, like, what's my purpose in the earth, and what partner do you have for me to make sure that I fulfill the purpose that I'm supposed to put into the earth? Just because she fine with that big old, come on somebody, right? A lot of times that could be the biggest distraction in the world if you're not smart enough to know that she may not be there for your purpose. At the end of the day, I know that there's people on the other side of this camera who want to have their pictures in black and white. And your great grandkids get an opportunity to say that when that person came into the earth, our family lineage changed forever. I got a chance to sit with a woman, and I'm looking at a man on the other side of the camera that I know that when their grandkids, kids, as the Bible says, that a good man or woman leaves an inheritance for his children's children, they'll get an opportunity to see a black and white photo of Todd, of Kandi, and the family, and say that when those people came into the earth, they changed our family name and legacy forever. The question becomes, will that be your story? Will that be the story that they get an opportunity to say about you? Hey, baby, listen, I can't write it for you, but I can encourage you to know that there's a guy who has a story for you that really wants your story to be one of which that people can say, only God could have done that. And here's the thing, it don't mean you perfect. It don't mean that you're going to get everything right. But the good thing about the God that we serve, he understands us before anybody else understands us. In fact, he says that he knew you while you were still being formed in your mother's womb. So no matter where you come from, single parent household, adopted like me, or maybe you just came from a really good household and life be lifing, right? You got to understand that God understands exactly where you are. He loves you not because you're so good, but because he's so good. The challenge becomes, is do you believe you good enough? I'm so thankful that you had the opportunity to hang out. I'm inspired. Maybe KD, I told you my next one, I don't want it to be too spicy. I want it to be a little mild. I didn't know that you had a spicy demeanor on camera, but she's like, no, I'm really mild on me. I'm really just mild. I don't want nothing spicy, ladies. Let's get that out the way. Praise God. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you share this with as many people as possible. Again, man, I wore this hat to represent an African-American woman who's doing things big. The name of the hat is Amazing Culture, right, Sherelle? Amazing Culture. I met her, and I'm always supporting African-American women who are doing some big things in entrepreneurship. And what better way to support this brand than sit down with the ultimate entrepreneur, Kandi Burress Tucker. It's your nephew, Willie Moe Jr., flat out. Family, wait, you watching the Love You More show. Thank you. Subscribe, share with as many people as possible. But before we go anywhere else, I want you to check out my adoption story. It's a trailer to the movie, The Missing Piece, which I'm going to give you an invite so you can go see it in your living room. How? I'll tell you right after this. Although years had passed, I would often think about my biological mother.
How did you think that being adopted and never having met your biological parents, that you was okay?
Like, what did she look like? What was her name? Did she ever think of me? I opened the birth certificate, and I get it, and I look at the name for the child, and I realized that I did not have a name. Although she had refused to meet me, I wondered those things. But in 2019, I received word from the adoption agency through an email that my biological mom was dead. She put me up for adoption. She refused to meet me, and then she died on me.
After he told me her name, I got really curious.
She called me and she was just like, I think I found the person who could possibly be your brother. I needed to meet him. And then she added a caveat. She said she's not dead. Your grandmama's dead, but your mama's not dead. Family, coming up Thanksgiving night, I want to give you the opportunity to bring the theater to your computer, to your television, to your living room. After you finish eating all the Thanksgiving fixings, I want to give you an opportunity to see this movie in its entirety. You say, Willie Moore Jr., how do I get my tickets to the virtual theater? It's really easy. In this description on this YouTube, there's a link that says the Missing Piece movie. I want to make sure that you click the link and buy a ticket. If it's two or three of y'all in the house, I'm trusting that you're gonna buy 2 or 3 tickets. You say why? Because a portion of the proceeds are gonna help me buy Christmas gifts for foster children and for adoptees across the country. We are gonna give some children an amazing Christmas, and it all starts with you. So make sure that you get your tickets to the virtual theater, and then we got a VIP opportunity afterwards. You'll get a chance to hang out with me and a lot of people in the movie. You gotta watch the movie though. Get your tickets right now. Flat out.
Love you more, love you more.